MinSwap's yield farms are now live and you can now lock in your liquidity to their yield farms and earn those extra MinSwap tokens. And I'll be showing you exactly how to go through that entire process.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast.
Hey everyone, I'm Peter Buey. Welcome back to the channel. If you like this type of content, if you want to learn more about Cardano and everything that's happening in the Cardano ecosystem, please consider giving me that thumbs up, click subscribe, click on the notification bell, and you hear more great Cardano content from me. Now, the MinSwap team have finally launched their yield farms. It's all ready to go. I had a quick little play around with it and it seems like everyone is jumping on right now and giving it a go, and it seems like transactions are ticking over, and I'm going to take you through that entire process so that you can follow on and learn exactly what's going on. But I have some really cool slides here. Let me pull things up. So this is the official announcement and this is what's happening. We can get to the actual yield farms at this address here, or if you just go to the website from the very top, I've got this navigation thing happening, but you can click on farm and you can get to that particular page as well. But I've got some extra things here that I'd just like to bring up before we get into that walkthrough that I'm going to do for you. So first off, if in my last video that I did, I mentioned that the PurrADA tokens were now useless because if you didn't redeem them, then that was the end of that story. What the MinSwap team did amazingly was they looked at the 118 wallets that were left that didn't go through that conversion process and went, look, guys, we're going to do it for you. We're going to convert those ADA tokens, tokens that were provided for the PurrADA, and convert them over for you. And they gave them all the liquidity pool tokens and airdropped them directly to those particular wallets. It cost them a little bit to do it in that process, but I think that's the fairest process that they could have gone for. Instead of holding on to all that ADA and just letting it sit in limbo, they returned it as liquidity pool tokens to those participants. If they convert to PurrADA, you would assume that they're after those liquidity pool tokens. So anyone that has left a comment saying, hey, I think this is terrible, they shouldn't have put a time limit on it, etc., don't worry, check your wallets. You will have those PurrADA tokens in your wallets. The only thing that you won't have is the NFT booster. So you won't have the extra boost of the yield farming rewards. So another thing that came up is this brilliant spreadsheet chart, this little table here that sums up all the data across the different liquidity pools so that you know where you could possibly optimize your yield farming so that you can earn the maximum min tokens. So this was submitted on Twitter by Carl Berger, and you can follow his Twitter account there. But you can see all the different pairs, how much total value locked is in each one of those particular liquidity pools, and then how much min per day these particular pools are getting. Now, when you have that data, you can break it apart and work out your APR and how much min tokens you'll get for providing liquidity to each one of those pools. Now, it's done a really nice thing here and also put in color coding so that you know green is good, highest returns, red probably the lowest returns there. So if we have a look here, the min ADA pool gets a nice 515% APR total return there with the boost. So that's a total with boost. And if you have a look further down here, the best one that you can actually get returns on is ADA Clap at 823%. So if you have any of those Clap tokens from Carter Shift and you provide liquidity and you lock it in there, you will get a whopping 823% boosted return on your liquidity staked on that particular pool. So you can see all the other different returns here, and you do have some other options. CNETA seems very good. You've got Wi-Fi, which is very good as well. So it's not very saturated. So I was talking about that in the last video conversation video that I put up. So this is looking like a very good return there. The MinSwap pool is still very good, but the very oversaturated ones here, which are the very popular ones, which is the Liquid Finance, Meld, and World Mobile, they're providing some of the lowest returns. And of course, the Hosky one, a lot of people have the Hosky tokens, don't know what to do with it. So they're providing liquidity on the DEXs as well. So you can see the APR with the boost there. Thank you so much for putting that up. It really is a useful visual guide. Now, of course, these numbers constantly change. As people see these numbers, they'll be jumping in on those pools. things may balance out. So keep an eye out for how much total value is locked. Hopefully this spreadsheet is updated, and I'll put a link down below in the show notes so that you can get access to it. All right, let's go through the demo and have a look at exactly how to go through and put this liquidity locked into the DEX itself. And I'll take you through it all step by step. Okay, so let's go through this process. My wallet is already connected. I've got my NAMI wallet here. You can see I've got my ADA liquidity pool tokens. I've got some MINT tokens, which I will be converting soon as well. But let's go ahead and just stake these and start yield farming for our extra rewards. So I'm going to click on farm and then click on stake. So this is the initial process of staking these tokens. And I'm going to stake 100% of these liquidity pool tokens. There's no point of holding back here. Now I'm just going to check to make sure that I've got my my NFT booster in my wallet. And there it is there. So fantastic. That's all good to go. So the MinSwap team said that the NFT booster should be automatically detected when you go through this process. And the NFT booster is for this particular liquidity pool, the MINT APR. So let's click on stake. So my transaction is coming up. Let's have a look at these details here. And let me just show you what these details look like. And you can see exactly what's going on. Now that transaction actually detected my MinSwap NFT. So I'm just going to click back and I'm going to sign this transaction. And I get a lovely mempool full. So that means the transaction, it was submitted to a particular pool, but it didn't make it through. So I'm going to have to do this again. So let's have a look here. Okay, so let's start this process. Let's sign the transaction. Let's get this running. Let's double check all this. Yep, that looks good. Go back. So I'm going to sign this transaction, confirm that. And great, fantastic, there it goes. So transaction submitted. Now that might take a little while to actually hit the blockchain at the moment. So just checking the blockchain load, I'm going to load up pool PM here and I'm going to see what it's at. And the load currently is at 90% in the last hour. So that's fairly high at the moment, but it looks like, and it seems like the MinSwap DEX is handling it after all those upgrades to the network. So fingers crossed, I'll check in a few moments and see if that has all gone through. But what I will show you now is how to set up a brand new liquidity pair using a different token. And I have some CNETA readily available to do this. So I need to create the liquidity tokens first. So to do this, I can click on pool at the top up here in the top navigation. And I can scroll down to the actual pair, the ADA CNETA pair here. This looks like the correct one with the low liquidity pool fee of 0.3%. So let's click on this one here and add liquidity to this particular pool. Now I don't have a huge amount of CNETA tokens here, so I can click on max and that would add in my required amount of ADA. So when you're adding in liquidity, you need to have an equal amount of value of those two pairs. So if I put in 50 CNETA tokens, the equivalent of that is 9.42 ADA. So that is my balance liquidity that I'm adding to this pool. So now let's click on add liquidity and it is signing my transaction here. And you can see this transaction is quite expensive here. And I'll break down exactly what's happening in this particular transaction. So let's go have a look at the details. Now we have one asset going through, that's the CNETA. And then we have the 13.42. So that includes the ADA that I'm putting in, the 9 ADA, plus a deposit of the actual asset. So I need to deposit ADA with the asset ascending as well as all the transaction fees that's happening on there. So it seems like it's quite high, but don't forget I need to pay some ADA in this process. So let me just sign this transaction and away it goes. Hopefully this is a quick process as well. Now I don't have desktop audio enabled in this recording, but it was a nice cat purring sound there. It's one of those nice little Easter eggs that the team have put in, and you can always put in that audio there so you can hear the cat purring on anything, process order, pending orders, or cancelled orders. I haven't heard, I don't know if it's different cat purring sounds. It could be, could very well be. All right, let's leave that audio on. Okay, so now let's have a look at my orders here and see if any of that's gone through. So looking at my wallet, it does look like my liquidity pool tokens have been staked. And there we go. Check that out. So my ADA Min liquidity pool tokens have been staked. And check this out here. If I hover over that, it's got my booster rate in there as well. So it's taken into account my NFT and applied my booster rate in there. That is very slick. I like that. I really, really do like that. Well done, MinSwap. So look at that liquidity that's locked into that particular contract. We should really check out the TVL later tomorrow and see how much that has increased by. But that is looking very good. Now, my CNETA tokens haven't been deposited yet back into my wallet, so I can't add this yet. Oh, but look at that. You have another way to add liquidity directly from the UI. That just makes things so much easier. It makes those click-through processes a lot easier. I do like that. I was thinking I had to go through the top navigation, navigate through that way, but this is far less confusing than some other dexes that I've used. And being able to go through here, stake, oh, we have no liquidity, add liquidity, go through the process, zap something through, voila, you're through to the end and you can stake your liquidity there. That's a very smooth workflow. Absolutely love that. Now, while we're waiting for these transactions to go through, at the moment it's taking about 6 to 10 minutes per one of these transactions. I went ahead and asked the MinSwap team when the date was that we can actually start converting our MinT tokens. I thought it would be tomorrow on the 16th, somewhere around this time when we're assigned to Yield Farm. Actually, they corrected me and said it was the 14th of April, not the 14th of March, along with the settlement phase. Hence the confusion, and hence I've been confusing all you guys. The MinSwap conversion date for the MinT stuff is on April 14th. If you have a look at the documentation, if you read it carefully, the date there clearly says April 14th, 2022. I am so sorry for anyone that I've told the incorrect date for, and if you had to move MinT tokens around, that's not the case. So it looks like we have an extra month to wait before we can actually start converting our MinT tokens. Then we have that 45 days of locking in our MinT tokens to convert. And then we have that linear vesting period afterwards of 45 days additionally after that, which the MinT tokens will convert over and be released slowly. So it looks like a 90-day period for the conversion of the MinT tokens and an extra roughly 30 days ahead of that before we can actually convert it. So 120 days roughly before we can actually touch any of our converted MinT tokens that will be Min tokens. So that's a good 4 months before we can actually touch it. So that is a longer vesting period. That's what I kind of expect for a vesting period, at least 6 months to a year in terms of vesting before we can actually mess around with things. That way we don't dump on a DEX, don't dump the tokens on the market, and hence all chaos could break loose with prices fluctuating all over the place. So that makes more sense now. And thankfully I checked with the MinSwap team while doing this video at the same time, waiting for transactions to come through, to get that correct date. So there we go. I'll put a link to this in the show notes in the video description down below as well, so you can read up about it and correct me at any point in time when I say something incorrect. Others have done so down in the comments as well, and I thank you so much for that. Now, in my last video, I was corrected about some of those details around the conversion of the MinT to the Min tokens as well. And I'd just like to thank these two contributors here, Crypto Altabi and Vincent Morin, who corrected and highlighted those additional things for me. Now, Vincent also said that there are additional pools where we can add in our MinT tokens and get an extra boost of APR on those particular pools, such as Meld, I believe, is going to have a boost. So if you lock your liquidity in for your Min APR along with your MinT tokens, you get that extra boost of yield on there as well, and you get extra Min tokens out of it. So because that isn't happening until April, we won't get to see that quite yet. But it's a very interesting extra boost that you can get. So we get a boost now with the NFT that we're staking to the particular liquidity pool, the Min APR, and we also will be seeing some extra boosts on various liquidity pools when we convert our MinT tokens on those particular pools too. So That's pretty cool, and we'll see that later in April. So subscribe to the YouTube channel to find out more about that process when it comes up. I thought this would be my last video on MinSwap. I guess not. There is more and more to come. So let's jump back onto the DEX and check if my transactions have come through. I'm waiting for my CNETA liquidity pool tokens. And it looks like it has. There they are. So let me just go to the CNETA pool here. And do I have to refresh the screen? No, there we go. Didn't even have to refresh. It's automatically detected my liquidity pool tokens. So that looks about right. So let's go stake that and sign the transaction for this again. And my transaction is submitting. Come on. And there we go. Did you hear the cat? I nailed the audio this time. That's absolutely fantastic. So that's been submitted now to the blockchain, and I'll just have to wait for that order process to go through, and I'll have my CNETA liquidity pool tokens staked to that particular liquidity pool as well. So that's all locked in place. I have my MINT with my NFT, and I have my CNETA all in place there. Fantastic. I think we are good. So if you have any comments, if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. I'm more than happy to go through them, answer them, get direct access to the team, and find and answer your questions there for you. If you want to learn more, if you have a request for a video, please also leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you as well. That's it from me. Good luck with your staking and your yield farming. Check out that spreadsheet that I put up as a reference. Again, links down below. Optimize your returns, try and get as much of those MINT tokens as possible. We're speculating here, we don't know what it would be worth, but in the future, we're hoping that the MINT tokens that we accumulate are worth more in value. That's the goal, that's the aim here. Have fun, and that's it for me for this video. If you really enjoyed this content, please consider giving me that thumbs up, click subscribe, click on the notification bell, and you hear more great Cardano content from me soon.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debating.